Hello everybody, welcome back again to the Allotmenter. Well, today's plan has already gone wrong. I was supposed to be coming down here and setting in an edge for the border of my allotment and moving some compost into place and possibly moving the polytunnel frame. However, it's not gone quite to plan. Come and have a look. I got here this morning to find that on the floor and can we see the problem? On top of the roof, top corner. Yeah, the felt came off in the storm we had, I think it was Monday or Tuesday. So now I'm going to spend a couple of hours fixing that. Now I'm going to have to spend the next probably about half hour, 45 minutes just stripping off this little bit of roofing. That's not what I expected to do today. I was going to lay down the border edge all the way down the side, as I said earlier on, but lo and behold, it's the joy of allotmenting. Yeah, so I'm going to stick you on a time lapse and you can see me flouncing around up there trying to get these nails out. So, got that little piece off, that's the only thing that's left. That was the corner of it. Strange, it looks like the wind has got up underneath it and tore it off, but it's got fixings all the way across, around the edges, across the front, and then in the middle. Imagine you've got a rectangle like that, it's got rows to stop that. I'm not new to building sheds. I have built many in the past, and yeah, strange. Must have been really windy at some point to lift it up. I know we had some very strong gusts, like 50, 60 mile an hour, but I'm surprised that that pulled off as easy as it did. The problem I've got now is this is what's left over, and it is full of holes. Yeah, you can see where the fixings were. They had fixings here. There's another hole there, and one there, and a row here. And they've just torn straight out. But the problem is I don't know whether or not that I can save it. So I do have some of this. This is this stuff. This is yeah, weatherproof patch and seal tape, black. I don't know why I had to put black on there. It's quite evident that it's a black blade tape, but okay. Yeah, so I do have some of this stuff. What I'm going to try and do is put a piece underneath, put a piece on top, mush it all in, because the glue on this stuff is really thick, and you can just see it on the side. It's really gloopy stuff. It should seal. It's not going to last forever, but looks like I've got a job for the spring when I'm going to have to replace all this roof. Yay! But let's set you up. I'll do a quick patch repair on this, and you guys can see what I'm doing. So, what I'm going to do here, get some of this nice big patches to go straight over that big area. There's a big hole right here. It's probably about 8-9 inches long. Keep the jokes to a minimum, Chris. Yeah, so seal this on. What I'll do is I'll sandwich it, so I'll do 2 pieces. I think I said that already. Hopefully this stuff sticks to this surface, because if it doesn't, I don't know what I'm going to do. I need this piece of felt to survive. And no, it doesn't stick. That's a big piece that I've just wasted, and it's not sticking to it in any way, shape or form. Right, yeah, that's not sticking to it at all. Great. Plan B. When all else fails, fill it full of schmoo. Now this is OB1, construction grade sealant, and I think some of them are adhesives. Anthracite as well, so it's going to match up quite nicely with the roof. Not that I particularly care, as long as it don't let water in. So what I'm going to do now is I'll use the Gorilla Tape as a patch, and then I'll just seal it up with this stuff. I have no idea whether or not this is going to work, but it might not stick, it might stick, I just don't know. Oh, don't tell me it's gone off. Oh, this is not helpful. Right. Nope, it's just too tight for that. Come on. Oh, come on. I know stuff's old, but I didn't think it was this old. This is going to be a problem. Oh, oh God. This is going to be a certifiable nightmare. Great plans and all. I thought, I'll come down the allotment, you know, couple hours, do a video. You know, all I've got to do is make some sticks and some pointy bits on the end of them, post those into the ground, sort of thing. I'll bang them into the ground, and then you know, screw the boards onto it. Easy peasy. Got all the timber sat there ready to go. No, of course not. Who said having an allotment was stress-free? Get an allotment, they said. It'll be a nice way to relax, reduce your stress, Chris. Oh. Oh. This OB1, when it gets on your hands, it don't want to come off. I now have got grey fingers, but I shall sacrifice the colour of my finger to the cause. Oh. Oh, God. Let's see if I've got any other stuff. I did bring some more stuff with me. Let's have a look, see what I've got. I do have some black silicone, stinky stuff, but I don't know whether or not this is gonna. It doesn't feel like it's gonna be any good. I think it's all gone off. I think I got a tube full of. Yep, no, that's no good. That's all I brought with me. Almost certain of it. That's all I brought with me. Alright, poo. I can't keep trying to do that. I'm going to break my mastic gun. Why is it so stiff? I think a little bit of air has got in through the bottom here, and this bottom bit has sealed up because it feels quite squidgy up there and quite stiff down there, but that also could be the support ring inside. Oh, I don't know. Try that again, see if that makes a difference. Sometimes you poke a hole in the bottom of the sealant, it lets a little bit of air in, and one, it doesn't sort of like continuously squirt out, even when you press the pressure release on the back here. and sometimes it just helps things move along a little bit, which it has done absolutely nothing. Oh my word. Oh. I'm just trying to make a ring around it. Oh. Another one or two, and then we'll be done. Right. I think my idea of sandwiching it is gone out the window. It was this stiff to do. Right. Stick that patch over that. Oh, I've got 3 more of these to do as well. Let's see if I can stick some nails down through this as well. And I will. Oh, let's get you for a second. Let's see what I'll do is I've made a nice patch there, and what I'm going to do is I'll squirt some more out around here to seal it all in. A little bit of luck, that should work. It should hold for a couple of months. Not to say it's going to be perfect, because it won't. But as Yogi would say, it's an allotment. It's not supposed to be perfect and just about making it cheap. And he's right. It is about making it cheap. Make it as cheap as you can. Because who knows what's going to happen. You spend thousands and hundreds on your allotment to make it all nice and pretty. And then the council wants the land for development. And that's a real threat at the moment. I know a lot of sites that are, well, no, I'm exaggerating. I know of a few sites that have got that pending doom. Oh, I think this might be loosening up a little bit. So, yeah, it's not a nice thing to think about, losing your allotment. But this is why allotments should be done cheaply, because you never know what's going to happen. What I'll do is I'll get this one done, and then I'm going to stick you guys on a quick time lapse, because I am waffling away, and I've been told I waffle a lot, so oh god, it's gone everywhere. I need some baby wipes or something down here. This is when my wife would say, "Well, there's some in the bag, darling." I say, "Yes, I know." Alright, so we have a patch and it's sealed. So I'm not overly concerned if it has a little bit of a leak, because a little bit of a leak is fine. A lot of leaking is a problem. Ugh. I'll see you guys in a second. Alright, so found 3 big holes. They're all done now. Let's zoom you out a little bit. Here we go, now you can see. Ended up breaking my my mastic gun. That is completely snapped. But Yogi had one, so I borrowed his. Cheers, Yokes! Even though you're not here, enjoy your holiday. Yeah, so I'm going to give that an hour just to firm up slightly so I don't move the patches while it's being hoisted back up onto the shed. And I will get on with clearing out some of this lot in here and trying to get rid of some of the massive amounts of water that's currently held inside these pots. Oh my word. Oh my word. Lucky enough, there's just plastic stuff in there. These are the little fittings for my irrigation system when I do it, but there goes one of them. But still, I don't want massive amounts of water in me shed, because when it dries out, it's going to go all damp and horrible inside, and I don't want that to happen. There's that one. Has that one got water in it? Well, strangely enough, that one's bone dry. So that one's dry. That one's wet. That one's dry. Dry, 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 and dry. So it's just that one. Well, I'll take that. That's a win. So, we're back up on my roof. That is Exeter. It's not a bad place, is it? I love Exeter. I moved down here, God blimey, 15 years ago now, and despite a rocky start, I love Exeter. I really do. It's a lovely city, and yeah. But anyway, my roof. I can see where I've gone wrong. I thought I nailed this all in. I didn't. I'm missing quite a bit. It's probably because I couldn't get over there, but I didn't do the front edge. So that's my fault. Now you can see exactly why. It failed. Yeah, wind got straight up underneath it and pulled it all off. I think the main thing is that I'm best part of 17 stone. It's about 106 kilos. So it's quite heavy, and I didn't want to climb up on the roof. I might send my kid up here at the weekend. We're up here on Sunday, so I might send him up here to bang some nails in the roof for me, boy. He'll be happy to do it, bless him. He loves to help. But yes, I've got some more fixings down here just in front of the camera that I need to take up. And then, well, I might actually just bang those ones in, leave those where it is, because I don't want to leave holes. Yeah, and then I'll reattach that piece that came off. To be honest, the rest of the roof looks absolutely fine. But I'm not entirely sure whether or not it's going to last. I might end up re-roofing this, as I said earlier on. If I can nail in these few bits here, to be honest, the rest of it looks good. So it might be fine just to leave it where it is. So let's get, now I'm up here, let's get you set up over there on my little tripod. Sorry, you're at a bit of an angle, but the roof's at an angle and I can't do anything about it. So I'm going to go down the bottom, I'm going to grab the sheet of felt and I'm going to come back up. It's been setting for 45 minutes to an hour. Now, I do have a lot of overhang, so I can sort of resituate this. Although it's not going to be in line with the original piece that's here. You'll probably see the two joins are now at different sort of heights, but I'm not fussed about that. It's nothing major. I'll set this overhang over here, tack this back down again, and then tack that edge and try and tack that far bit. Right, let's get me hammer and nails. I'll be back again in a second. Oi, come back here. Oh, you shitbag. Oh, it actually blew over. I didn't want that to happen. I wouldn't mind, but it's not that windy up here at all today. It's a gentle breeze at best. Oh, it's ruined me gluing job. Just got all this junk off my fingers. Stay there. Bad felt. Right. No dark art of felt, really isn't. I know this is supposed to be an allotment channel, not a shed channel, but gotta do what I gotta do when I gotta do it. Just to keep this in place for a minute, just stick a couple of tacks in it. So, I was told, get off slug, I was told many years ago by a man who had built many sheds, when you felt a roof, you want to have the tacks about 1.5 inches down to about 1 inch, sort of minimum, away from the very edge. So when you look here, so I just stuck that one in, I'm about 1.5 inches or so away. It's not enough room for the felt to be caught by the wind. As it says, he's just had these ones ripped off. It's not enough room for the felt to be caught by the wind, but it is enough meat there for it to stay where it needs to stay. I've got some holes in the edge where it's been caught and ripped off, but I'm going to leave those where they are. It's not going to affect the waterproofness or water tightness or whatever you want to call it of the felt. It just needs to hold in place for a bit. As I say, I'll redo this, I think, in the spring. I don't want to be messing about with shed roofs in the winter. Although it looks lovely out here, it's about 5 degrees today. It's a bit chilly. Put it into perspective, your fridge is about 4, so not that I care about the cold that much, but I'll see if I can get one in there. There we go. It's just not pleasant. Come back here, you. Looks like this far edge is just about being caught by the wind as well. Let's tack it down before it gets damaged. There you go. And you want to place your tacks about 6 to 8 inches apart, maximum really. I mean, 100mm, 4 inches is ideal, but you can get away with 6 to 8 depending on how many you got. At the end of the day, you've got to make do with what you got. I've got about half a dozen left, so I'm doing mine a little bit further apart just to make sure the roof is at least on. I don't want to lean over this because I've still got my coat on. Right, so now I've got to do this front edge. I'm going to leave you where you are. Tack down this front edge. Stop the wind taking this off again. So when I got this shed, I had to put a new roof on it, and the roof was in awful state, absolutely terrible state. Cost me about, oh you bugger, that's 2 tacks I've just lost. Cost me about £45 to get some new OSB board for this. OSB is the best stuff because it doesn't delaminate like ply does. When you leave ply out in the weather, it just peels apart. The glue goes to mush and just peels apart, and it all flakes away. So OSB is much better. The only downside to OSB is if you leave it as it is after about 2 years of just being open to the elements without being protected from the weather, once again, it will just fall apart. If you can use, proper timber, proper timber, like gravel board or something like that for a roof, it's going to cost you a fortune, but it will last forever and a day. That's what that is. That's, say, my wife's shed. That's got OSB with boards over the top of it, just as belts and braces, because I wanted that thing to last forever. She's got no intention of ever giving up her plot. She's never going to move, and if she does move, I'm moving that shed with her. As much as she wants more growing room, she's resided to the fact that she spent so much time, and so have I, getting that plot looking nice and relatively low maintenance. She doesn't want to move and have to do it all over again. And I must admit, I cheated when I got that plot. I brought my mini excavator down here. I had a Takuchi TB216, which is a 1.5 ton excavator, ideal for this sort of work. But her plot was just all over the shot. A foot height in difference. It was all rutted and all sorts, and the previous owner hadn't really looked after it. It was just sort of like barren and full of weeds. So I went in there and turned the whole thing over, took about 8 inches of soil off, flipped it all over, and then we covered it all with cardboard and did the same thing we've done on mine, which is to fill it full of compost. No dig, nice and simple, although I did dig. But it was more than anything else, it was just to give the subsoil a bit of a better chance. By turning it all over, the grass rots down, the roots are exposed, and it all breaks down and you get some nice fertile soil underneath it. Well, that was the plan anyway. But now what we do is we top it up every year with about 30 barrels of compost as it breaks down and compacts. And she's happy as Larry. Minimum amount of work, and she's got loads of growing room. Although she'll tell you she hasn't got enough. She's got plenty. Alright, I'm now out of thingies. I need to go find Yogi's shed and get some more. There we go. Alright, so that's what you want. These are, ELH clout nails. So these are special nails for roofing felt. They've basically got a massive head on them, as you'll see. The nail itself has a massive head, and they're only, say, that big. These are 12mm, I think, 13mm. And all these do, so they just hold the felt down. I only need a dozen or so. Good old Yogi, he's got everything, and he never minds you using it, to be honest. He's such a nice chap. It's kind of like, well, if he likes you, won't do everything for you. He's lovely. To be honest, if he doesn't like you, he'll still do everything for you. He'll just moan about it. Oh no, you're going to be watching this, Yogi. You go, you cheeky git. Do I have any down there I need to do? No, right. I'm just going to step down a little bit. Oh. Right. Oh. Although this front edge isn't the one that got torn off, it got torn from the back edge by the looks of it. I'm going to make sure that these are well secured. There's 99% of the time when a shed roof felt gets damaged, it's the front edge or the side edge that's been tore up by the wind, and lo and behold it starts to tear, and then the tear gets bigger, and then the wind gets underneath it, and then off it goes. And that's exactly what's happened. It's just that mine's happened from the opposite end. But that was my fault, because I was obviously doing something and I forgot to actually clout that side. Alright, I'm going to move this ladder, go around and set it up over there so I can do that side. I'm here. You won't see me much now, but hey ho. Just my dome sticking over the top of the roof. Ugh. Once I've done this little bit, I'll come back up there and I'm going to do a line of nails through the middle, all the way up underneath you guys, just to protect it again. Ugh. And with corners, the best way to do them is basically like hospital bed sheets. If you don't know what that is, speak to your mum or your nan and say, how do you do hospital corners on a bed sheet? And they'll tell you. And put plenty of tacks in along the edge of the fold, because it will stop it from unfolding. And after a season or so, it won't go anywhere. All right, coming back round that side. So that's the roof all in. I've nailed it all the way across here, so they're spaced out a little bit further than I like, but I'm using somebody else's nails, so I'm not going to use them all. And then I've nailed it all the way across, sort of here, all the way down, and I've also nailed along this front edge. With a little bit of luck, this should last at least this season coming, and then I can replace it next year. Yeah, that's about it really. Alright, let's go get started on the jobs that I was supposed to be doing when I was up here. Alright, back to today's actual job. So, what I'm going to try and do is, one, make sure my camera doesn't fall over. This tripod I've got is not very good, it's only a cheap one. So yeah, putting in the edging from this point here to down here. There's a lot to be done. My plot's about 14 metres, 13 metres long. Does it sound like a lot? But it is. So what I do have is lots of this. Now this is 6" by 1" gravel board. Okay, this is what you get on the bottom of your fence when you have a feather edge fence put in. You get this. Now, for a roundabout way, I had loads of this stuff left over from a home project. So I thought, well, let's not throw it away. Although it's got screw holes and nail holes and bits coming off it left, right and centre, it's good enough for this. So what I'm going to do is lay it all out so I know how much I've got and how much I need, and then I'm going to need to make some spikes to go in the ground and then start banging it all in and screwing it all together. Also, I've got to make sure that it goes in a straight line, because this plot obviously belongs to a very nice lady called Rachel, and I don't want to be going into a plot. Although technically there is a 600mm walkway between my plot and Rachel's plot. But once again, yeah, I don't mind coming in this way a little bit. It's no problem to me. I'm not fussy over that much. It doesn't bother me. So it is what it is. I'd rather be safe and play safe and stay this way just a little bit. And it's just less for me to move as well. So, but let me lay this all out. I'm going to try and use some of the longer lengths. I've got lots of shorts and lots of longs and lots of weird shaped bits, but I'll try and use the longer ones because it means that I don't have to make so many spikes to go in the ground. Right, so now I've laid down all the wood, what I need to do is make some spikes to go in the ground. I don't even know what timber I've got left down here, to be honest. I've used quite a lot of it doing the other side. I don't know whether or not some of this timber I've got here is going to be okay, because I've got the trims for the shed, but they're too thin. I've got some 50 by 50 2x2 batten, but I don't have enough of it. I've already stolen the stuff that was on my my wife's plot for making the first lot that I put in. And then I've got this, which is the CLS, and that's 75 by 48 or something stupid like that. That might be a bit too big. It's going to be hard to, well, it won't be hard to cut this, it'll be easy enough to cut, but banging that into the ground, and this is completely untreated, so I don't particularly want to use that. So what do? Now, I do have, sat over there, a pile of scrap wood, but I don't know whether or not any of it's going to be any good. Let's have a look. What have I got? I've got some 3x2s, that's no good. I've got some 3x3 posts, that's no good. I do have, however, a lot of 3-inch gravel board. I could use that. So that would just require me to, a bit close. So that would just require me to cut some angles on it and then cut it to length and make basically little spikes. They need to be about a foot long, not hugely long. It's not retaining much, 6 inches, so you know, it's not going to be a lot. I could do that, I think. It won't be too difficult to do. First piece of timber. So all I'm going to do is, to make the spike, is cut a nice long angle and then cut a straight further down. So give me 2 pieces with an angle on the end. Now you don't want it like 45 degrees, you want it as shallow as you can. If you make it 45 degrees, one, it's going to be a nightmare to bang it into the ground. Even now, when this ground is so wet, it'll still be a nightmare. You're going to want it as steep of an angle as possible, like 10, 20, 25 at a maximum, just to make it easier to go in. They do have a tendency to drift to the side, so take that into account. When you bang them in, because you've got the angle on one side, when you bang it in, it will drift the way that angle is going. So just take that into account when you're putting it in. If you're putting it in, and this is particularly thick, so I don't have to worry about that. But if you're putting it in and it's only, say, 1.5 inches, 2 inches thick, and you're cutting it on an angle on one side like I'm going to do, just take into account it might drift over a little bit. And sometimes go in wonky and stuff like that, but it doesn't really matter. It's an allotment. Yeah, I'm not going to be registering for the RHS awards or anything else. I'm not going to the Chelsea Flower Show with this site. It's just my allotment. Just got to do. It's all it's got to do. It's just got to work. As long as it works, I don't mind. So, we now have, to get a good one, half a dozen of those. That took me 30 seconds. So, and that's all you need. Some of them are a bit smaller, but they'll do. Right, let's get these put in. So about every, well, I don't know, if the board's about 6 foot, about every 3 foot you want a spike in the ground. That'll just stop it all from falling over and stuff like that. Ugh. Now, I do have a couple of bits of rubble right here, right where I don't want them. Now, what I'm doing right now is just eyeballing it up down to the bottom for this first piece. bang them in flush, and that's it. It's that easy. I do have a string on the other side, so what I might go do is grab that string and then set up a string line so I can get it somewhat straight. Would make sense to me. Let's go get that string. So what I've got here is, I need to get myself back in the centre of frame. I'm using some 40mm, what they call Turbo Gold. These come in a big multi-box from B&Q. Sometimes you get them on offer, they're about 20, 25 quid. When they're not on offer, it's 40 quid. But you get, it's like 12 boxes of various sizes. Very handy for £40 to have, I think it's something stupid like 10,000 screws of different sizes or something. It's a ridiculous amount. It might even be 1,200 screws, I can't remember. But it's a lot of screws of various sizes and thicknesses and all sorts. So very handy to have. I've got one in my shed and it's going to last me years, but it will do the job. And it's cheap. You go buy in a box of screws, you'll be shocked. It's about £6–7 for one box of, you know, 250 or 100 or 50 screws. So worth doing, really. And any of these spikes that are sticking out the ground, I will just nip off with the reciprocating saw. Keep hitting the remote to turn off the camera. On the ends, I'm just going to put one extra screw just to help keep it all in line where it needs to be. Now, little top tip from an ex-tradie. I call myself a tradie, I was a landscaper, but you want your string to be sat just away from where you are. So, for instance, here now, I've got a little gap of about 10mm between the string and where I'm working, my line, where I'm going. Now, as long as I keep that gap consistent all the way down, one, I'm not going to have a problem with the boards pushing the string out one way or another. So I'm going to keep it somewhat straight. And what's the other one? Yeah, and I won't get the string caught up with what I'm doing. So, top tip. Three on the ends. So these are just 40mm screws, they're not particularly big. Now this one's only 4 foot long, so I'm only going to put 2 on this. And if I keep, say, the string just away from where I'm working, we'll be all right. Now obviously the ground drops, it rises and all sorts. It doesn't matter. You'll end up, I've got a gap here, I can actually get my hand underneath. Doesn't matter. Why doesn't it matter? Not because it's allotment, because I'm going to fill it up with earth anyway. Once I get this compost, there's going to be a row of rhubarb going all the way down to the end of my polytunnel, because I love rhubarb, it's one of my favourite things. And we make cordials and stuff like that. So there's I'm going to fill this up with earth, and what I'll do is as time goes on, I'll get some more compost and stuff like that. I'll put a little bit on this side, a little bit of grass seed, and just build this little bank up just so it's always flat, it's not going to wash out, and it looks a little bit nicer. But for now, the edge, it doesn't matter, it's an edge. Let's move you down here a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. Come with me, my dears. You don't need a doubt for you, dear. Ooh, here you go. Just put you over here. So, here we go. Another board. Now, if you're really fussy and you don't like this rise, that's fine. You could bring it up and then let it drop down naturally on the other end. Or if you want to dig out a channel, you could dig out a channel from one end all the way down to the end, the other end, and then get these in all flat and level. I'm not bothering with that. Don't need to. This is just an edge. All it's there to do is stop my compost from washing out into next door's plot, or whatever. It doesn't matter. The screws aren't popping through. What I'll do is I'll stick you on a time lapse. I'll get you set up, and then I'll catch you in a bit. So that's that all done. Whew. Took me a little bit longer than I expected. So here we go. And it's pretty straight. I've got one bit at the bottom that's slightly off, but okay. Like I said, I took it in ever so slightly anyway. I took it in that way ever so slightly. So it should, in theory, be absolutely fine. I'm sure my neighbour won't mind either way. But even then, say this section here is technically, that is the edge of her plot. That's the start of mine. This is a shared pathway. So no biggie there really. But yeah, that's that in. So I think I'll probably save that for the weekend. I'm going to start raking this lot out, put more cardboard down all the way along here, and rake that half down that way, and then that bit that way, and then that bit that way. So yeah, but that's all in. Guys, thank you so much for joining me doing this. I kind of know what I'm doing when it comes to building stuff, but the actual allotment side of things is very, very, very new to me. I just did building work on my wife's plot. You know, she says, "Oh, can I have a flower bed?" And I built her a flower bed. She says, "Oh, can you get your digger down there and do this?" So yeah, no worries. And I got my digger down there and done that. But when it comes to actually growing things, which obviously won't be till the spring, this is just a case of, you know, you're along for a journey to, you know, watch me build stuff. But when it comes to the spring and actually planting and doing stuff like that, that's where, say, I'm going to be doing the learning. So I'm going to rely on some of your advice. Please like and subscribe to the channel. And if you like the videos, please give them a like or drop us a comment. If there's anything you've seen that I've done you think that could be done a better way, please let me know, because I don't mind redoing it if it needs to be done better. If there's a way of doing it better and cheaper, I'm always up for that. So yeah, give us a like, give us a comment, subscribe if you like the videos, and yeah, I'll see you all next time. Have a good day, everybody. Have a good Christmas, and I'll see you soon.